Good morning, afternoon, and good evening, everyone. This is combo number 2. I'm Tom Flores.
I'm Travis Baker.
Now, I know it's been a long time since our last episode. It's been about a month. But now he came back big, though. A really great movie we just saw, and it was called...
It was the BP oil spill movie.
Deepwater Horizon. Now, what I really liked about going into this is that I could say I saw this. It wasn't like, watching a 9/11 movie where it was like I was a kid, so I didn't know, but I knew the impact. But this, I actually saw on the news because I was a sophomore, Travis was a freshman, so we actually followed this storyline because now we didn't know more about the accident of the people involved on the oil rig, but we knew that it took like over 80 days just to cap that oil spill. So this was really interesting to see now, basically the before instead of the aftermath that we followed on the news. And
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It was
phenomenal.
I don't know. We've been on break because
work and school.
And plus, like, when September came around, a lot of the movies didn't look that interesting.
Something they look good, but it's like, oh, we saw this. Now it's just this version added with this, kind of like that.
Yeah, and there wasn't a whole lot of interesting things coming up. Plus, we really enjoyed Sausage Party, but.
After that there wasn't much, and we kind of, and then there was some, and then we missed something that week, so it's like I guess it came and passed kind of feel like we should have saw it when it was there that weekend, but we knew we were going to see this movie because the first teaser trailer was phenomenal. Every trailer for this movie has been just out of the ballpark, but the teaser trailer was so good because it took the scene from a scene from the movie, and it was interesting. Instead of showing mostly what happened on the oil rig, it showed Mark Wahlberg's character. He plays Mike Williams with his family, and his daughter is giving a presentation. She's using a soda can to represent the oil rig with a pencil, and how she's just talking, and then it spills all over the table, but obviously with sound effects and the camera element, be like, oh, this is a metaphor, because while she's talking about the oil, how oil is extracted from the earth, it's going with quick scenes actually on the oil rig with them. You see problem solving and kind of freaking out and everything. So it was like, whoa, that was a little too just much, and that's why it was really good. And then the main trailer, the main trailer was one of the best trailers I've ever seen. In my top 10 trailers, because that was phenomenal. When the feed cuts on his video feed on his laptop with his wife, and he's saying I'm coming back, and then it just goes straight into it. That was phenomenal. So we knew this was going to be a very, very it actually turned out to be not just a very good movie, but a phenomenal piece of work that I think they should get every Oscar nod except obviously 5. The documentary, it was a short documentary, full-length documentary, animated feature, short.
Yeah, the ones that can't possibly get.
Yeah, the ones that literally could not.
Yeah, no, I liked. This movie did very well. This movie was directed by Peter Berg.
Who was just kicking butt right now.
He's really good.
Yeah, honestly, like Battleship wasn't that good. But
everything else he's had his hand on.
Yeah,
really
Lone Survivor, and then it's nice to see Mark Wahlberg back at it again with him and them getting together, and then this was just phenomenal for a movie.
The thing that makes Peter Berg work so well, he's a realistic director. He likes to use handheld, but he likes to use handheld a lot in his movies.
Yeah,
he uses it really well. Like, it's not incomprehensible to watch. You can tell what's going on.
It's not shaky, really. It's not that much. It's not too shaky.
It's not too shaky, yeah.
Yeah.
So it has that documentary kind of feel. It also helps that a lot of the dialogue in his work is usually, like, improv.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of moments where I feel like, okay, that was probably prompted in the script, but improv on set.
Mm-hmm. And what's nice too, because he said he is a realistic actor. He wants to capture realism, but he does it through not just putting through a person through crazy stuff that the human body you might think wouldn't take, but he just films a lot of dialogue of just what people do. People just shoot the shit most of the time. We're not doing a lot of crazy stuff, even at work. We're just shooting the shit. And that's what he captures. And I think that's what shows the realism, because he's capturing people. He's capturing humans in unfortunate, extraordinary events.
It just starts out like it's a day at work, but
it goes
like a very well paced horror movie. It's like it starts out as a normal day, but slowly it goes bad, and it's not like random day at work, oil spill. No, it's
a buildup.
It's already set up when they find out that the crew was supposed to do like an important safety test.
It even started before that. If you think about it, because in the movie there's two higher ups from BP Oil coming in. One has a tie.
Oh yeah.
One of them has a tie that's a magenta color, and that on an oil rig basically means shit is at the fan. And so Kurt Russell says, "Please take that tie off. My people who I work with, all my coworkers and employees are not going to like this." And that's where it's like, ooh, because you feel it. And then when they're flying in the helicopter to the oil rig, a bird hits the windows, and you're like, oh.
It's a sign from God. Yeah. Don't come here.
And even Travis was like, don't come. And then
just turn around.
And then going to what Travis said, when they get there, they find out people are just already leaving. And stuff's already just not right, and things aren't happening when they're supposed to. There's still a cargo carrier out there for no reason. People are leaving. There was the tests weren't done, and so,
because BP wanted to rush the whole process.
And even the air conditioning isn't working. The telephones aren't working, and some of the smoke detectors and alarms are like just don't have any batteries. So everything is already just not working at all. So that's what it's like the horror movie, just that intensity. And every time it gets closer to the actual, the accident on the well, it gets even more and more, and you're just feeling, you're like, oh my God, this sucks.
When is it going to go wrong? When is it going to blow up? This is going to happen anytime.
And it was still, though, throughout that, though, it was still showing people at work. Mm-hmm. And it was like just people at work at a day where it's like, this is bullshit. And I felt like, yes. Yes, where I work at, this is nothing compared to that, but I can tell when I walk in, oh, something's not right. Oh God, what's going on? What the hell? And I could just feel like, oh my God, this is how I act when something's not right at work. So that's what I could relate to. It's just, it started off as people going to work. It showed Mark Wahlberg's character, Mike Williams, with his family. And by the way, Kate Hudson was phenomenal with her Southern accent. It was
that was a really good.
It wasn't
Texas.
overdone. It was just nice and subtle.
I know people in Texas that talk like that. So yeah, it was real.
And then showing other characters as well. I think Andrea Garcia, is that her name?
Yeah,
I believe so.
The character's name.
Yeah, character. Yeah, I forget who plays her, but she's
Gina Rodriguez.
Gina Rodriguez from Jane the Virgin. She was phenomenal in this one.
Was great.
And it showed her too. And then when they got to the helipad station where they clock in, the helicopters take them. Mm-hmm. And how it's funny how you try to saw it's like all of them are pickup trucks, and it's like, yeah, that makes sense. It really captured like just the people, and that's what made this movie so great. And it was just people in a crazy circumstance, and then but showing them their day getting to work, clocking in, how Kurt Russell's character plays Big Mr. Jimmy, and he's the man, he's the boss.
Kurt Russell
is
so good.
He was phenomenal. And then when they get on there, and then everyone interacting with each other, and then when they get up with the higher ups, and how there's the BS, and it is unfortunately in their minds all about money, but it can't be all about money because of how dangerous a job it is.
They did a really good job villainizing BP.
Yeah.
Like, not in a cartoonish sort of way.
In a corporate way.
In a corporate, very realistic sort of way.
Capitalism.
Here's something I want to talk about.
Okay, yeah.
The main guy of that group is John Malkovich.
But he didn't do a John Malkovich bad guy.
He talked in like
I didn't recognize him.
His very Louisiana accents. He really got into it, but what made that portrayal work? He was very calming. Mm-hmm. Like he wasn't obvious dismissive. Like it's nothing wrong. Just get on with it. No, he's very calming and manipulative. Like, oh, there's something wrong. Well, it's probably just this minor problem. Oh, this test seems to prove that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't completely It's like all right, but it doesn't isolate that as a possibility, and we know that because we keep on seeing scenes underwater of like things going wrong.
And it still leaves the fact that no matter what you do, the main oil line is still damaged in some way. So it doesn't matter what you do test wise, you still got to fix the main line.
Yeah.
But it was great though because his performance honestly was Oscar worthy. For sure. Like, the nod, for sure. Yes, the year's not up, so we don't know who other supporting actors are going to come in. But he's got the nod, for sure. He's got the nomination. Because because John Malkovich is one of those, like, in that class of actors where you know he's going to be that John Malkovich style. That signature style. Like, there's, like, Christopher Walken has that signature style. John Malkovich definitely does. I didn't see a single ounce of John Malkovich until the very, very, very end of the film, and he does that signature pouty lip thing that we all have seen him in every movie. But that was it. Just that. Everything else for the whole movie was just I didn't see him, and that was what I thought was phenomenal. He's a great actor, but this just took him to a whole new level because he disappeared in my eyes.
Yeah, and he didn't chew up the scenery.
No,
it's another good thing about like that style of movie that Peter Berg likes to make is that everyone's pretty balanced.
Mm-hmm.
Like Marky Mark's the main character, but everyone's balanced.
Know who the lead
it works
is,
as an ensemble show,
but it's still an ensemble. Like know who the main character is, but you're right. It's still, and that's what was phenomenal. And then even with Ethan Suplee's character down at the oil line, where they get in the oil, his character was awesome because his character, Jason. He was just like talking to Mark. He's like, "Look, I'm not an intelligent guy. I don't have a degree or anything, but I'm not an idiot. It's common sense. And I know why things are getting rushed. It's because of money, 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 money." And it was great. And then everything about it was just leading up to it was phenomenal because not only were they setting the stage for it's about to go south in a very bad way, but you still saw people at their day-to-day lives talking about what I'm going to do when I get off this rig. Oh, what am I going to do with this? Man, I just woke up. I'm here. Like from every angle of coworker that we all have known in various different fields, that you have everyone talking about what they're going to do when they get off, how they're happy to be here, just talking about it. And the one person is like, "And I just got here. I have no clue what's going on. You're asking the wrong person." Like, nothing. I'm sorry. I just woke up. So I love that. And as I know we're kind of repeating ourselves, but that's how great this film was. And then right when it happens, it was just phenomenal the way it is because you thought first it was going to be this.
And it's all drawn out too. Like you feel like you're watching the whole thing in real time. It's
and the shockwave from it was phenomenal because first of all, this is a PG-13 movie. It's very graphic.
It was pretty violent.
I felt like Kurt Russell's character was in the shower and he just got bounced like a ping pong ball off 3 walls and then just thrown out of the shower, and you're just watching it. You're like, wow. And the camera angles for that were phenomenal because it literally felt like they actually were using Kurt Russell's body as a rag doll. So that was great. The shockwave through the hallway. The shrapnel going through the glass in that little comm station, the oil everywhere, and people screaming and shouting, and like the roar was it.
Sound editing is a big one that, like, if there's any one nomination it would get at the Oscars, it's sound editing.
Yeah, because the roar for everything was just deafening, and how you could just feel it. And then also, too, because an oil rig is probably like 99.99% just all metal, people were hitting metal. Not with their helmets, but with their heads. And you heard not just the helmets hitting the metal, but you heard bone and skull hitting metal. And then you just see a little splatter of blood, but you just heard it, and you're like, oh, that was what was just a little like intense because literally people were getting thrown around and just landing on metal, not sharp metal too, not even like nice, like not that nice soft round metal. It was just metal, like bulky metal.
Yeah.
And then that was great. And then when it picks up, when everyone wakes up from the blast. Them just trying. You see the ones that freaked out, the ones that didn't know what to do, and the ones trying to just do their job still. And I think that was interesting because the main thing, kind of catchline for the movie on the poster is a true story of real life heroes. And it kind of put a new spin on like what it means to be a hero because there really is a loose term on what a hero is. And what was interesting through this movie, you would think the Mark Wahlberg's character and Kurt Russell's character are heroes, but when you watch the movie, I'm not taking away, I'm not saying anything less of the people they were playing in real life, but they were the people who actually just were still doing their job. Mm-hmm. There was only honestly one real hero from what the movie showed us. There probably was more in the whole event, but what the movie caught was there's one guy, I don't know who the actor played, I don't know the actor's name.
Oh, the guy on the crane?
Yeah, he was the crane. He actually saved everyone. Because of how when he got on the crane to stop things from falling on the lifeboats, and then when the second group of people went to try to leave the oil rig on the little raft, he's the one who set the stage and saved everyone from that because he risked his life.
That was definitely one instance where
that was a hero.
The heroism was obvious.
Yeah, because everyone else really was doing their job. And does that make you a hero? No, not really, because you're doing your job is doing your job. Mm-hmm. Yes, not everyone did it. But it just showed what the kind of character you are. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like nothing saying less of Mike Williams and everyone else of the real life people there, but that was the one act of heroism that stood out because that was real heroism. Mm-hmm. That was not doing your job. That was going above and beyond. And that was what I thought was phenomenal how they captured that, and they showed everyone stopping and looking at him. Mm-hmm. And like going just like awestruck. And it was, and then oh god.
Peter Berg loves to make movies about quote unquote American heroes. It's probably why he made like
Lone Survivor, and then his new movie coming out, Patriots Day, because what he does is he takes Americans, no matter what part of the world they are, because of where Lone Survivor was set in, but he definitely does take the Americans and their stories, and that's what I like.
Mm-hmm. Well, very good.
And it's not
very good at doing that with football players too.
Yeah, and he doesn't do it in that gung ho way or that rootin' tune patriot way. It's just like almost like the average American.
He's not Michael Bay.
No. So yeah, that's why. And then the special effects were good. And what was interesting is I found out that oil rig. I mean, not when it was on fire, but when they were in the oil rig, they actually made an oil rig for this movie, off like out in the water. So that was phenomenal because it adds to that realism.
The sets are very real. Like the only part where it wasn't was just this big exterior shot where I could tell, like, okay, that's probably a CG construct.
And when it's on fire too, you can tell that was CG fire.
Yeah, but the set there wasn't a whole lot of green screen.
No,
the set I couldn't tell if there was at all. For all I know, that could have just been real ocean.
Yeah, it probably was, and just set, and they just added it.
Yeah,
but other than that, yeah, it was fun. It was, and there was a lot of beautiful exterior shots. Mm-hmm. So it really was. And what was really surprising, and this is what actually makes the movie I say was better, because most Oscar movies are long. This is a very short film.
The showtime was 7 o'clock.
With a lot of trailers.
There were a lot of trailers for this movie. We got out 8:55.
That was at 8:55?
Yeah, I remember you.
That was 8:50. But yeah, we could have seen it again, like back to back, and still been home before 12, while going out to eat. That's what I think was the most jaw-dropping moment for us.
Yeah, because we thought, we're probably going to get out at 10, especially since we felt like there was so much going on.
There was, because there was so much going on.
This is like Dr. Hugh's TARDIS. It's smaller. It's smaller on the outside, bigger on the inside.
This was like a smaller, in a sense, Titanic, because in Titanic, like this movie, every character, from the lead to Caprio's to the mom and the single mom with their kid, had a story.
Yeah.
And Titanic's 3 hours long. Everyone in Deepwater Horizon had a story. This movie's 107 minutes long.
It did everything Titanic needed to do in half the time.
Yeah. And it was quick. And what was great about it, too, here's one thing, going back to the very beginning, the way the movie opens up, for the opening credits, not the opening scene, but for the opening credits, that was the best, I think the best opening credits I've ever seen. And you didn't see anything, I just heard stuff.
You just heard, like, the hearings.
Yeah.
The real-life hearings,
because what happened was that obviously it's a completely black screen, and the studio names come up in, like, a white, grayish format.
Yeah, very small font.
And it just comes up, and while that's going on, you hear the actual real, like you said, testimony audio recording of Mike Williams at the trial, at the hearings, and you're just listening to that, and you're like, oh my God, like that just was like, this movie's, this is the movie. I was just putting my hand
around. Doesn't show you too much.
It was simple, and then obviously at the end they show us just to show what the real life person looks compared to the actor, and obviously,
of course, they don't look as good as the actors,
but they caught the personality. That's what I saw, because obviously who Kate Hudson plays, Mrs. Williams, they don't look like it at all.
No,
but you could tell from how the real woman looks like, just how she was in the picture. You're like, oh, but she caught the personality. Because you could tell that personality. I was like, oh yeah, that was good.
You look at the pictures of the people and you're like, okay, I've known. Okay, it's kind of judgmental, but it's like I've known people that look like that, and I know how the personalities are. So it's like, okay, I see what they were going for.
And that's what it was, because they really did capture and embody the person. They might have not. They didn't look like it, but they acted like it. Mm-hmm. They embodied that personality, and that's what was an interesting part of what Peter Berg's phenomenal director for that, because how he got these actors like, sure, I know they're not going to look like it, but damn it, they're going to act like it, and I know who's going to be able to act like it, and the casting was on point, and it was really good. And then during the explosion of the oil rig, it was interesting to see two people still like, oh wait, it's not a problem yet. No, it is a problem. And like, people freaking out, people coming down to what.
Don't call the Mayday.
Yeah, and how everyone's reacting to it, and then at the end when everyone gets off, and it's like they survive except that was 11, and that was the great, and that scene on the cargo ship when everyone got off, and how Mr. Jimmy was the one doing roll call, because those are his people. Like that's why like he was in charge of it, and even though he couldn't see out of one eye,
he was very down to business. Like, all right, checking attendance right now.
He needed someone's help to walk, but he was standing on his own, just standing there raging off. And then when they got to the name Jason, who Ethan Suplee played, it was quiet, and he said, "Did no one from that section survive?" And everyone's just like, and you could just tell everyone's like, "Oh my god!" And I was just like, damn. And after roll call, they got down and prayed. So they're still a family, and how there are some jobs where not just a group of people or a clique is a family. The entire store, the entire factory, the entire facility is a family. They come together. So that was interesting. Of 100 and I think it was 50 people they said were on that oil rig total, and how all of them, they're a family. Even though there's almost 200 of them, they came together as a family. And that moment was really strong. And it was how all of them, like, after, some are still hurt, some are bleeding, broken leg. No, they still got down on one knee and all prayed together. That was a really nice.
It's a very southern thing.
It was nice because it resonated with anyone who has a job.
Yeah.
If you're lucky enough to have that kind of family at work, hold on to it. Yes, that was really nice. And then the end credits showed the video footage of the trial. It showed Mike Williams. It showed Mr. Jimmy. And then it went to the pictures, and what was really, because of how Lone Survivor ended, it showed the pictures of those who had died. This one, because it was just 11 people who died, there was no like scene change or anything. It just listed off the names all in one line, one list, and with a picture each with their family. But since it was just 11, they were able to keep it all on one screen, and that's what I thought was powerful, because it was, yes, 11 people died. 11's not a big number, but 11 people died, and guess what they left behind? The family. Like, and that was just powerful, because that's what was really powerful in this movie. It doesn't matter if it should win Oscars, nods. It should get Oscar nods because of how powerful it is, but just go see it. And if not so much as like, I don't want to say go see it because it's important, because it's like really pretentious talk. No, just see it because it's a good movie. It's a very efficient movie. Yeah. It gets so much done in so little time, and I don't think it had to, but it did. Yeah. And if you like, that sounds horrible, but if you like disaster movies, this is one of the best disaster movies you'll see. It is a disaster movie, yeah, but
it doesn't have like the disaster movie cliches, or the villains aren't like. It's not like John Malkovich, like in the heat of the disaster, still like trying to sabotage things even more. Because when things go wrong,
it captured.
He's just like, oh, oops.
It captured evil that's not fictional, that's not comic book, that's not taking over the world. It captured evil it captured the lesser degree of evil, but that can still do a lot of damage. Because there's a lot of different types of evil, because evil is a big encompassing word that is also loose too, like hero. But it showed an evil that, even though it just involves money, it can still do a lot of damage. And it captured corporate evil that we, as the common people of this country, experience on a day-to-day basis. The corporate evil, the almost, you could say, simple evil that you don't see coming until it's almost too late.
Yeah.
So that's why it was really good, because and then what's great is that now in January, Peter Berg's going to be coming out with another movie called Patriots Day. The teaser trailer came out the beginning of this week, if you haven't caught it yet, for Patriots Day, and it involves the Boston Marathon bombing. Mm-hmm. And once again, you can already tell he's capturing ordinary, just real life people, no one of a higher title or a higher calling, or someone who's who's well known. It's just normal people in an extraordinary circumstance. I say extraordinary because it was big.
Yeah,
it was an
really
event
big
that normal people never go through, and rarely do they. And it's a rare chance they go through it just once.
And that's going to be another one of those movies for us where it's like, oh, we saw this happen,
and we definitely.
I remember that.
Yeah, and because this happened. What I was a senior, right? It was my senior year. Yeah, mm-hmm. So that was just 3 years ago. About 3 years ago.
Yeah,
and that's what's crazy. It's like, damn, and this Peter Berg, he needs to do more of these types of movies. And I know it would be very hard to do, because I was telling Travis this, it would be hard. But I think if there's going to be, he needs to be the one in charge and directing the Virginia Tech shooting movie. Like, if there's going to be a movie about Virginia Tech,
if there was a movie about a mass shooting, I'd like Peter Berg to handle it.
Yeah, because he's going to get it done.
He's gonna get it done. He's gonna get it done right. Tonally, he gets he'll be appropriate about it. He won't,
for a very, very hard subject to tackle, hard event to, he would do it flawlessly. Mm-hmm. And I know it's very bad to say, but that would be the movie to see, because it would handle the subject appropriately, like Travis just said. Mm-hmm. So yeah, definitely please go see this movie before it leaves theaters. We did see it in IMAX.
It's fake IMAX. It wasn't the real.
What was it called? Limax?
Limax. Not the proper dimensions.
So good to see. It was more the sound that for this IMAX that caused the sound, but it's good in any format. There's nothing crazy special effects that need that IMAX touch. Mm-hmm. It's more the sound that's just will definitely hold you in the seat. Mm-hmm. So go see this movie. It's phenomenal. It's flawless. Travis, any last minute thing?
No. I think we said everything he needs to say. It's great.
Oh, and do you think, asking our famous question, do you think this could be a classic when we're 50, 60?
It's hard to say that, because this is technically a biopic. And
well, some biopics have been classic.
Some biopics, yeah.
That Yankee Doodle Dandy one.
It's one of those, like, I think this movie's longevity will carry on in history classrooms.
Okay.
I think it's one of those. I think when in the future, when this decade really does become a thing of the past that we can record in textbooks,
this will be one of those moments.
This will be a movie.
Oh, because
that they'll show,
because it involves because not only was the disaster in the oil rig, but the impact it had on the ecosystem, the oil in the Gulf.
We're gonna watch Deepwater Horizon about this big disaster. Yeah, I could see that happening in like high school classrooms.
At least then people would be seeing it, because it's definitely because this is a movie to just to watch.
And it would be like a good movie to show.
Yeah, in the classroom.
Like I know my sister. She was learning about. My sister is in high school right now, and she was learning about Pearl Harbor.
Oh God!
So they didn't watch Tora Tora Tora. They watched Michael Bay's Pearl Harbor.
I know. That's what I knew.
My class watched Tora 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 because I had Mr. Bazan, and he recognized that not to watch Michael Bay bullshit. But she watched Pearl Harbor, and she said, "Oh God, that movie was awful."
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks again for joining us. Catch you the next time. And actually, the next movie we're going to be putting out for you to talk about will be The Accountant.
The Accountant.
So those trailers are great. Got Ben Affleck, J.K. Simmons, and Anna Kendrick. Looks like a great movie. So definitely going to be seeing that, and we'll talk to you guys about that. So once again, thank you for joining us here on Combo Number 2. I am Tom Flores.
I'm Travis Baker.
We'll catch you on the next time.
Bye.